It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margee McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margee McGee, and with me, as always, is my incredibly efficient packer, my friend. Tell the story.
God bless Margaret, but you are, thank you, hashtag working on it. Hi, everybody. I am Ramona Ramirez, having some packing anxiety over here. And speaking of packing, I want to make a quick business note. Next week, I will be traveling and will not have the availability to do the podcast on our normal day. So next week, Margee and I are going to pivot and we are going to be bringing you an episode from Sunday's episode of The Real Housewives of New York. And then when I come back, we will resume normal programming with the reunion, episodes, which will probably be good. Thank you so much for your understanding.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I just want to applaud you, give you your flowers for you packed a week ahead of time and you are shipping your luggage to your hotel.
That is correct. That is correct.
That is like a fantasy for me. I'm just so last minute, up all night the night before. I can't even imagine letting some sneakers fly ahead of me in case I need them here, which I won't.
It's strictly because I have a very tight connection at LAX from San Francisco, and I'm ultimately going to New Orleans, and I can't not have my bags. I'm going for a special event. Our schedules are going to be pretty tight. My ADD monkey mind just kept going over and over, like ping, 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 ping. On one side of the wall was 40 minutes for them to get my suitcase onto the flight, but then they might lose my luggage. Okay, and so I finally looked into shipping companies that exist solely to ship your luggage. So yes, my suitcase is packed and ready for FedEx to pick up and send to my hotel.
And it'll probably be like in your room when you get there. Like you're not gonna have to lug your shit to and from airports, in and out of cars. I know this was like a stressful thing to get it all done.
It was
a week ahead of time, but like I feel like the freedom of your travel day is gonna be such a reward.
The way my ADHD manifests, like when my kid got really sick a few months ago and we went to the ER and he had to have an appendectomy, you wouldn't be able to tell I had ADHD. I was extremely focused, probably from adrenaline, and also because I had a specific task: show up for my kid, make sure he gets his body to feel good, and make sure to help him feel as little fear. Well, okay, no, he's allowed to feel fear, but to know that he is completely 100% supported throughout it. If we were to have an earthquake, I think I would be able to do the same thing. Get the fuck out the house, grab water before the house starts to fall, whatever. But when it comes to something nebulous, like what do I need to pack for weather? It's going to be super hot and super humid. What if these shoes bring me blisters? Well, then I'm going to need to have enough. Just insane thoughts like that go over and over and over in my mind. And packing to me makes my body freeze and just feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm not proud of it. It makes me feel embarrassed. And I think I just have to kind of, that's just one of the ways that my brain can't handle it. My husband can pack for a trip in 20 minutes.
I'm so jealous of people who can just
so
throw on a backpack and be like, I'll figure it out when I get there. I'm like, you'll what?
I know, exactly.
But part of it is because when I go somewhere, I want to enjoy where I am and who I'm with. I do not want to be the person who's like, I'm freezing. I got to go find a sweatshirt to buy.
Right.
I want to just have the fucking sweatshirt so I can hang out with my friends and whatever.
I want to have everything. I want to have absolutely everything.
I want all of my options. And New Orleans is tricky because it is 10,000 degrees and 10,000% humidity. But there's also wind and I have had a real hard time packing for New Orleans. However, every time I've been there, I've had the time of my life and I don't remember what I wore.
Yeah.
So it's never been relevant.
See, that's funny because I always remember what I wear because when I go, I fully embrace, my idea of, living in the South, like I have outfit changes and I have my day wear and I have my night wear. And, I just love how romantic and mysterious it feels. And I want to just bring all of that kind of energy through my clothes with me. And it's probably in fucking sane, but I love it. I just saw pictures of our last trip there 10 years ago, and I was like, I loved that outfit. I still remember that outfit.
I mean, it's great because it makes the whole trip becomes an event and it becomes
Yeah.
something that's totally separate from everything that you do day to day at home. So I don't know. I'm thrilled for you. And I'm floored that you had the wherewithal to make clothing choices, put them in a sack, and
Yeah.
set them out for a professional to pick up and
Oh my
deliver. That
God.
is
Yeah.
just,
So we'll see. Hopefully it'll go great. You know,
you've done your
I've
part. Your
done my
side of the
part.
street is clean,
I've done my
and
part.
the
I've done
rest,
my
the
part.
results are not up
You're
to
right. You're
you.
right.
But
So,
yeah, that is, a new level of like travel readiness that I admire. And someday, no, I don't know if I'll get my shit together to do that ever, but I would love to. I'll put it out
yeah.
to the universe. I would love to get to the place where a week ahead of time, I can trust that I can live for a week without that t-shirt or those shoes.
Yeah.
Put them in a bag and get it out of here.
Yeah. It is nice practice. And I was beating myself up on a group chat yesterday with some other friends and my sister who are going. And I was saying, one day maybe I'll get over this. I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe I am getting over it. Or that even sounds a little harsh, but maybe I am recovering around my packing anxiety by finding another way. And so
Absolutely.
I
And
am.
just the willingness and energy to try another way instead of just, it's that whole like, you don't have to sit in your own shit just because it's warm.
Yeah,
It's like you could
totally.
make the choice to do the same thing, but you're trying a different
I'm
way
trying
to
a
feel
different way.
anxiety. And maybe the result will produce less anxiety, maybe more, who knows? But you've got an air tag in there. Like you just sound like it's just so, yeah, feels like expert packing. And
Oh, God
yeah,
bless. Thank you.
proud
And
of
I
you.
didn't even use the hugest suitcase. I used my middle-sized suitcase.
That's like, I've
I
never even
know.
considered such an option.
Well, it's because I did not pack one thing with a sleeve longer than my like shoulder because it's going to be so hot and
Hmm.
sticky. I packed a fucking fan, Margaret. I packed a little like 6x6 size Vornado because I cannot sleep without a fan blowing on my fucking face anymore.
But see, this is the luxury of like being prepared and packing a
Yeah.
bag to ship. I just think that's so great. You're gonna have all your little creature comforts. Like it makes the trip. I'm so happy for you. And I just think New Orleans is the best city.
It
And you
is.
can spend, I would spend any hour that I can be awake there. I am awake there. Cause don't you feel like it becomes a different city from like dawn to daytime to dusk to
100%.
nighttime? It's like a whole cycle of like
Absolutely.
spirits and people and music and
Exactly.
food. It changes all night except beignets, which you can get 24/7, which is partly why I love that city.
I mean, everything is black wrought iron and Spanish moss hanging. Yeah, I think it is the most magical city in the lower 48, honestly. I don't think anywhere in the continental US is as magical as New Orleans. I just love it. And I would like to take this opportunity to wish a happy 20th anniversary to Scott and Amy. They got married there in New Orleans 20 years ago. We met again for their 10-year anniversary, and it feels like yesterday. And now we are there. We are on our way to their 20th anniversary party
That's
at the
huge.
same hotel where they got married. So this
Oh
is
my
like
God.
every 10 years I go to New Orleans.
That's amazing. They better fucking stay together because that's an
Oh,
important plan.
they
But
are.
20 years is like,
Yeah.
that is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And yeah,
people are flying from all over to come
I
and
would. That's,
party. And it's just
yeah.
awesome. I hope to do a tour at a voodoo museum and
Hmm.
just lots of stuff, you know?
I mean,
Anyway.
that's a great transition to OC because as you recall last week, Vicky referred to voodoo as if it's like
Oh,
not
yeah.
real.
She's a
But that
bitch.
those voodoo museums, the people who lead those tours are passionate practitioners, and it takes all of the, I don't know, it's so, anybody who loves something and is passionate about something that they do or pursue or share with other people, that's real, you know?
It is, and
Christianity is like, can be superficial bullshit if you let it, Vicky. But, you know, the people who practice voodoo down there aren't trying to proselytize. They're not trying to convert you. They just want to educate you on like what, you know, what is spiritual about it. And it's not exclusive and it's not, I don't know. It's wonderful.
it is, and these kinds of practices are ancient and passed on, for generation to generation from the elders to the young, and I think that is beautiful and it's rich and it deserves respect. And
For
she
sure.
is a disrespectful C word.
Yeah. And I'm
Anyway,
so obsessed with, you know, the thin veil between the living and the dead. So, and I feel like
completely.
New Orleans, like that veil is the thinnest it can possibly be for whatever reason.
100%.
I feel like day and night, you're just dancing around with, you know, energy from the other
Yeah,
side. Anyways, I'm so excited for your trip and
I'm
I'm
so excited
living
too.
vicariously through your suitcase. And I can't wait to hear about everything when you come back. And now, to an incredibly non-spiritual
Mm.
place, Orange County. So this is the season finale that we're going to cover today. And I found the whole thing like chaotic and crazy and gossipy and insane,
Completely.
with some real tent poles of mental health issues to touch down on along the way. But we start at Dr. Tim
Oh
Ramirez's
my God,
facility.
Margie. Oh my
Shannon is
God.
visiting her chiropractor with a fucking bruise. Is she anemic? Something is so wrong with Shannon. I'm actually glad that she's in a moment in time where she's going to have to take care of herself, because they showed her falling off the boat in the
Ugh.
incident that apparently caused that injury. But the bruise was like an evening glove.
It
It
was
went all the way up to
massive.
yeah, and dark. And why are you going to a chiropractor for a bruise? And like, can you get you know, there's just like there's a lot of like metaphysical people on her team, and I'm not sure they're supporting her health.
Yes, I had the same thoughts. I, how do I say this? If there's a balance between the metaphysical and the science, that's, I think that's a wonderful, healthy, robust way to, you know, support your body and what it needs. It feels like Shannon is only doing the things that she's putting her eggs more in the metaphysical, not quite scientific, you know, places versus, having a nice healthy balance. Now, what Dr. Moon practices is again extremely ancient, and I have a lot of respect for acupuncture. I haven't done it in a long time because we moved to a different city than where my acupuncturist lives. But she also was the kind that was like, go see this doctor to work in tandem with what I am doing.
Well, and the
You
key word
know?
you said there is work. And I feel like
Yeah,
Shannon goes to these places for 50 minutes and expects to be healed without doing any work on the
that
outside in
exactly.
between. And
Exactly.
but this doctor in particular,
He was
I found him,
smarmy.
he was disgusting. He talks like a mouth breather breathes. There was like no consonants happening. He was like so cool. I hated how he talked to the women. He says to Shannon, "Pop a squat right here and let me poke at your neck." Gross.
Ew.
Emily enters and is like appropriately like leery of this man. And Shannon goes, "This is Emily." And the doctor goes, "What's up, Em? How are you, young lady? Looking good in the neighborhood." Shut up. Like, honestly, you
Oh,
feel like a pull toy, you know, like one of those, like a
yes.
douchebag with a string
Yes.
on its
Oh
back.
my God.
How
Yes.
is this a doctor? Stop it.
And he did it all in fucking Timberlands, dude. Like, what are you doing in your hiking boots?
And I just feel like if you're supposed to be a professional, like just one aspect of you, I would love to reflect that notion. Your language, your attire, the way you interact. It was just like so casual. And then he just like wrenches their backs and their necks into all these positions that, I'm not convinced like wouldn't kill me. It just was, he seemed like the worst of
He
the
was
chiropractic profession.
he was gross. If I was Emily, I would have wanted to take a shower after.
I mean, she looked disgusted because she was like, "Are you a doctor?" And he's like, "You can call me whatever you want." And she's like,
Ew,
what are you a
yeah.
doctor of?" And he's like, "Chiropractic." It's like, and by the way, I'm sure there are chiropractors that are, incredibly invested in their craft, but this guy just seems like he's like, about to retire and like needs something to do and likes touching women. So he's
Oh,
gonna crack their backs.
creepy.
Ew.
I forgot to say the title of the episode is Welcome to the Freak Show. So thank you, Dr. Tim Ramirez, for,
Yeah, no relation to you, by the way. The whitest
no.
Ramirez I've ever seen in my life.
Ramirez is like Smith in, well, I don't know, in Mexico at least. I don't know about other Spanish speaking countries, but yeah, Ramirez is like Smith. It's pretty common.
Tim Ramirez.
Tim Ramirez.
What is this man?
Dude.
Anyways, that was
Good
quite
head
a
of hair,
launch.
though.
He did. I mean, look, he has his positive qualities. He's not all bad, but I don't want him poking at my neck.
Hell no.
So the point of that scene, story-wise, is just that Emily reports that Gina is hurt by Heather being a backstabbing asshole. And now we go to the Halloween boutique.
Oh my God.
With Gina, Tamra, and Jen, because Gina's hosting a Halloween party inspired by the Cirque show that they saw in Mexico. That was a hard sell.
It was a really hard sell because
I feel like
they
this
hadn't
whole episode,
seen the show yet before she planned the party, right? Anyway, I don't know.
This whole episode it had like a very QVC vibe to me. We had like we're selling the Cirque show in Mexico. We're selling Shannon's colon whatever.
Oh my God.
That I can't. That scene was disgusting. We're moving with Tamra into CBD and sex toys. It was just like a big
You're right.
place for everyone to hawk their fucking wares, and I was in no mood. But I don't know. Tamra's going to be an evil clown. Did anything else jump out at you at this boutique
not
scene?
at all. Not at all. Other than wondering, I think that it probably was. Does that mean that this episode's like almost a year old? This season is almost a year old, isn't it?
Yeah. And I was thinking, how long was this? Because I feel like we started at a pumpkin patch and somehow like 16 episodes in, it's still October. I don't know.
I mean,
the
I
timing
don't
was weird.
put it above Orange County to have a year-round Halloween boutique. It's quite possible.
Touché.
Weirder things could have happened.
I mean, you've mentioned that it's like might be like a town of swingers, so I feel like costume dress up could be part of that. Anyways, then we go on to a much creepier locale.
Oh my God.
Heather and Terry's rental home, which is just as cold and sterile as their mall mansion.
Because it was found by cough cough Josh Altman, who isn't he one of the ones that's responsible for the crop of rectangle monstrosities all around LA now?
100%. And again, in another QVC moment, we find out at the end of this episode that Heather's son is, Josh Altman is his real estate mentor. And I was like, this whole episode just feels like it again. So now we add in the mix an ad for the Altman brothers. However, this house, if this is what they're finding, like fuck right off. Like it looked disgusting. It looked like a Vegas penthouse. The furniture looked cheap, which is probably why they had their private chef on camera, just to remind us that they're rich and a staff travels with them everywhere. We get it. So annoying. And then they have their conversation on those oversized fainting couches. That's so weird.
I find it so interesting. So if I was on, okay, did you watch Salt Lake City this week?
I did.
Okay. So Lisa Barlow calls John when she's having her meltdown. And Heather calls Terry when she's having her meltdown from Mexico. And I just think, I don't know that these women have friends, because I would definitely call Josh, but I would absolutely probably call my sister first, or you, or definitely be texting my girlfriends, and it's not that Josh isn't supportive. He absolutely is. But my support system is like my girlfriends, you know?
But
I
you
don't
have to be like honest in order to have relationships like that. And I feel like these women, especially Lisa Barlow and Heather Dubrow, are so obsessed with appearance that I
yeah.
don't know if they're capable of, and I don't even know if their husbands know them all that well, but I feel like they at least feel comfortable enough, like breaking down, I guess, or having feelings around them. But
Yeah.
I'm with you. It feels like really unsatisfying and incomplete.
It just feels I just feel, man, good girlfriends are where it's at. It's just a different kind of support, you know? I adore my husband, and believe me, I would yap his ear off about whatever bullshit went down on a girls' trip. But, I'd probably I'd probably text him, "Oh my God, they're ganging up on me." He'd be like, "Oh, sorry, babe." you
Yeah. And
know?
part of it
But my
is
sister would be like,
having,
"What's happening?
yes.
What's going on?"
And that's the thing, is part of it is having like the wider reach of a friend group,
Yeah.
like having a boyfriend or husband or partner to talk to is one piece, but having a girlfriend who understands how female dynamics work and how they don't really change from high school on, even though you've aged
Totally.
chronologically when you're all together for a long period of time, some of those old patterns can come up. Yeah, it was just, I don't know. It was just sort of the beginning of Heather beginning. It's been a whole season of Heather being like, again, the victim and just like so put upon. And they haven't had a chance to talk because she's unpacking. She's been so busy unpacking into this disgusting, sterile, sad house. And I don't know if I've heard the term dog fucked before, but like I will never use it.
Ew.
And I hated that whole compilation that the editors put up when
Oh,
Heather's
it's
like, yeah,
disgusting.
dog fucked in Mexico. And then it's like images of everyone screaming at her and then like a dog
Yeah.
humping something. And I was just like, this isn't funny.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because it's Heather, but like it just felt ick. Everything about the scene just made me feel ick, including Terry sitting with his like knees and ankles together like a little princess, his little exposed ankles.
I have to say, everybody disappointed me in this episode. Every single person, even Emily Simpson, disappointed me in this episode. And in this particular scene where Heather and Terry are on the couch, it felt like they were doing a lot of mental gymnastics to kind of rationalize her victimhood. I mean, there was so much chatter last week on Reddit and on the blogs and on podcasts about how Heather was really being ganged up on. And I just don't feel like I feel like we have been seeing. Okay, now her thing with Tamra and the whole losers thing, I'm not talking about that. That could, listen, completely possible that Tamra is being a complete lying asshole to try to make Heather look bad.
I think they both called everyone losers. That's what I think.
Oh,
I
okay.
think
Okay.
Heather's trying to get the stink off of her and put it on Tamara, but you think Heather doesn't think those women are losers? She absolutely does.
I mean, if she unfollows them when they're not in the friend group and it's
And
due to
moves to LA and
FOMO,
yeah,
yeah.
like she's an ass.
I just, yeah, it felt like a Heather image rehab scene.
But it was another like poorly written sitcom scene. I wrote it down because I was so horrified. Where Terry goes, "Oh, so the alpha girls are speaking to them now?" And Heather goes, "The head cheerleader is back and giving them attention." And Terry
Yeah.
goes, "Wasn't there a movie like this?" And Heather goes, "Heather's." And I was like, "Oh my fucking God." Just like nothing can be like real or authentic for a
Mm-hmm.
second with those
Mm-hmm.
people. But I did appreciate there was a series of confessionals. Like Gina had a confessional where she said, Tamara doesn't lie. She just saves information and reveals it at the least opportune moment for you. And I was like, great character assessment. Emily says Heather would rather shovel shit than apologize for anything. Yes. And
Agreed.
Shannon said, I would like for once for Heather to accept responsibility for something. Nailed it. Jen says Heather has an image and there's so much that she's protecting and upholding all the time. And I was like, yeah. So at least everyone has the lay of the fucking land now.
Yeah. I 50% agree with what Gina said. I do believe that Tamra lies. I think
She
she
does
lies,
both.
and she also harbors, she sits on something until she can use it to her advantage. How
Absolutely.
lovely. What a lovely friend.
Tamra then has this confessional where she says, the fact that Heather turned this around and pointed the finger on me, like, you want to destroy people. You're not destroying me, bitch. It's like, you all want to destroy
Oh my
people. This is
God.
a competition of who can destroy who the hardest first. Like, I cannot muster any sympathy for Tamra ever. And
Not
she
one bit.
really tried to get it out of me this episode. And I just had my arms crossed and a real fucking snit on my face. Like, I just hated it. I hate her.
And I think that she is absolutely projecting. I think that it's no secret that I dislike Heather. I don't believe that Heather goes out to destroy people. I think that she completely doesn't. I mean, for all the reasons I've talked about this entire season, she doesn't see what she's doing and she is a hypocrite. Tamra, I believe, does try to destroy people. And this is definitely an instance of her pointing a finger at Heather, and then there's 3 fingers pointing back at Tamra, 4 if you count your thumb. So I think she's
Yeah.
projecting on that one.
Tamra
Tamra is awful.
she
Yep.
brought Jen onto this show to exploit and hopefully destroy her. And to Jen's credit, she turned that around and made it an opportunity for her to like be more sure of who she is and who she relates to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, Heather, this is just like a big old narcissist alarm. It's like Heather has a confessional and she says, if she can't see where I'm coming from, then this really beautiful friendship is bullshit. And it's like, if she can't see where I'm coming from, no curiosity about like where might she be coming from and
Right.
how, if I don't intend my behavior to hurt her in such a way, how might I adjust it? If I really care about my friend, how might I either have a conversation with her or adjust my behavior so that I stop hurting someone that I claim to love so much?
Totally.
But she has no interest in understanding. And her this attitude that she has, it continues through this whole episode. And yeah, she just continues to
Mm.
be hateable. And Terry is somehow worse than Heather. I literally hate everything he does and says. I got to look into that.
I don't know if you need to look into it. I think you have better things to do with your time, but I appreciate where you're coming from.
He
That
has so little to do and say, but every time he's on screen, he says G6 and does one cabbage patch, and I'm through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
In this episode, he eventually asked Ryan his body fat percentage, and I lost my goddamn mind. Like, I hate him.
He's so insufferable.
He truly
He's
is.
so insufferable.
But talented, I guess. Is he a great plastic surgeon?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's a good question.
He's no Dr. Giacono, my future facelift doctor, please God.
I wasn't a fan of the fillers that altered his face to an almost Simon Cowell level, a few years ago. But
It's spooky. He looked like
it was
Jigsaw from Saw.
he looks it's almost like he's a Seth MacFarlane character from like an ancillary Family Guy person.
He does. He looks like a slightly younger Herbert, the old man.
Oh
Because he's like,
God, yes.
Terry's gotten so like thin and beef jerky-y. Anyways,
Blah, 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 blah.
Terry tells Heather to go into her meeting with Gina with an open mind, and Heather declines. So
That's right. That's right. Oh my God.
she was like, no, thank you. And we're off. And now we head to Tamra's cover shoot, which is like CBD Businesswoman of the Year, I guess. I don't understand what was happening, but this is where she cried. I didn't go to college and I was raising a kid at age 18 and I expected Cut Fitness to make money. Why? Why did you expect that? That's not that has nothing to do with you like raising a kid young. You didn't, whatever. I don't know. I can't, I don't understand what this business is. So I have no attachment to it. She seems obnoxious in this photo shoot. Why is she front and center yelling about sweat going down her ass? Just be one among many. Just smile, go home. I don't
I
know.
I was just reflecting back on how these kinds of magazines remind me of Lydia and her nobleman husband, the kind of magazines that are in a random independent high-end boutique in Newport Cove or whatever, and you get it for free. And it's just a lot of people paying to be in it. Like it's just like ad, ad, ad. So like, okay, yay, congrats.
I didn't
Congrats.
realize there were so many of these
I
magazines.
just
Like
I don't understand. I don't understand.
it,
Okay, it
it
just
just,
makes me
yeah.
laugh. I feel bad for those kinds of magazines.
I mean, I guess it looked, I don't know. The whole scene felt manipulative and greedy because she's like, this is the business that's making us money. We're going to sell it and look out soon for our sex toy line because, and then in her effort to be hilarious, she just insults her husband and she's like, because Eddie's dick doesn't work. And I'm like, well, if that's the case, do you know why? It's because his heart almost stopped. So why
Oh
don't you give the man a fucking
God.
break?
It was
Stop
so
embarrassing
awful.
him for your sex toy brand. Like, I don't love Eddie at all. I find him like deeply boring, but he had a serious medical condition.
Yeah.
If his dick don't work right, then I guess your options are dead or dick don't work right. So decide what your value system is in this moment and maybe don't make it a ploy for us to buy vibrators from you.
Yeah.
Dick.
I don't need to talk about it. I don't need to talk about CBD. I just,
Speak on it.
I had a bud tender tell me years ago that unless there is a little bit of THC to activate the CBD, just CBD on its own is probably not going to do anything. I don't, I don't know if you can mail order. Maybe you can mail cannabis within the state of California, but if I would just, if
I'm
you're,
not buying it from Tamra. I'm
no,
buying it from
that's for
Snoop
sure.
if I'm buying it from anyone. Like I just don't know why Tamra just they're all so open about how money grabby everything is.
They hope to
Like
sell it.
yes, and Shannon saying I need to come up with new products so that I can put my kid. I don't know. I guess it's honest, but whatever. The only thing I did like is there was that photo of Tamra's dad blowing out his birthday
Oh,
candles like
uh-huh.
in the 80s, and it gave me like a real hardcore like 80s nostalgia moment because there was like her mom was in like white pumps and there was like a crock pot on the table plugged in and it
Totally.
was a grocery store cake with those like plastic balloons. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just had a
yeah.
moment
I know what
where
you're saying. I know what you're
whole
saying.
lot of nostalgia. Anyways, fuck Tamara. So Jen and Ryan. Okay. Was her son getting a haircut
I
in
believe
very
so.
close? Okay. That took me out for a minute. So I'm not even sure what happened. I know there was conversation about food, but I was like, you have bathrooms. Like, why? And why? Go outside? Why are you doing this at dinner time in the kitchen? Gross, right? Hair everywhere. I don't
Yeah.
know. I would never. I
Yeah.
don't want to eat dinner at Jen's house ever. It just made me feel her cooking looks terrible. And then her son's hair is probably makes like a crunchy top for whatever she's
Oh,
baked.
no, 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 no,
Disgusting.
no, no, no. No. No.
But we finally get to Ryan confessing that he fucked someone. And I was going to ask you, was that Heather Amin? Is that who it was that he slept with?
I don't think it is.
Okay.
I don't think it is. I could be completely wrong. I thought it was the person that Tamara and Jen both know, but we've don't. Oh God, I am not the person to ask because I have no idea right now. I don't think that it's Heather. I
I
don't.
mean, whoever it was, it did look like he hadn't told Jen before this moment. And I will just reiterate for anyone who cares, if you interact with me, a lie of omission is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't get to just say like I didn't lie about it. Not saying it is a lie.
Right.
Especially when
Right.
it's at the heart of your conflict with your
Right.
girlfriend right now.
See, I'm so confused by this because I thought that she knew that he slept with somebody else while they were on a quote unquote break.
So this must have been someone else
Someone else?
altogether.
Oh,
And
see,
and he was so casual, like, I was just doing what single guys do. He's
yeah,
so awful.
he rewrote history so much and got so defensive and put all of her fears on her. And I find that to be a pretty that is a level of manipulation that is, I'm going to say it, it's toxic and you should run.
I mean, it's borderline abusive. Like, I should
Yes.
look into this, but like,
Yes.
he used language like, he said, you say you want to move forward, but you keep hitching your wagon to Tamra and dragging us back.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you.
You.
You're the liar
Exactly.
because you say you want to move forward. You're making bad friend choices. It's like, no, like, that's so I don't know. He skeeves me out on every
Completely.
level. And I can't say it enough. I'm so sad that her children are a part of this relationship because I'm sure she would be gone if they weren't. Right? He's just so atrocious.
I feel sad for her that she's thinking that this is what she deserves. He's not a prize to anybody with eyes at all. He's just uh, the smarm is palpable, and I can't imagine that her kids like him. I have no idea. I find
I mean,
him
I'm
like
sure he's just in performance mode when he's there. Like, hey, buddy, how's I'm sure he's just like turning it on.
when we find out in a year or two that he's been accused of tax evasion or money
He is
laundering
Joe
or
Giudice
whatever, right? I
in the
am not going to
making.
be surprised in the least. I do not trust him. I wouldn't
Not at
leave my
all.
purse in the same room with him unattended.
No, but I will say I do appreciate Jen. I feel like there's hope for her to get out of this because when Ryan said that shit to her about like you say you want to move forward, but you keep hitching your wagon to Tamra, she said, I want to remove Tamra from this and let's just talk about us. And I was like, okay. Like
Yeah.
she took away his option to shame her and guilt her and be a dick.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. She
But then
did.
we find out more sad information. She needs $5,000 to retain a divorce lawyer.
Mm,
She doesn't have it. He pretends to offer, which I just don't think was real because he knew she would decline.
yeah.
The yoga studio is not profitable. It just was
Oh
like,
God.
oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. 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 It's sad.
It's tough. And then, the scene ends with another classic Ryan, just vague compliments and saying, Jen goes, are you crazy for like wanting to be with me? And he
Oh,
goes, crazy for you. It's easy to love you because you're you. I
oh
was
my
like, oh
God.
my fucking God. Like,
Don't get any jobs writing cards at a greeting card company, Ryan. You need some work. Take it
it's so
back to the drawing
funny.
board.
I had the same thought. Like, I'm like, I buy greeting cards at like gas stations and car washes, and I have not seen one so bland and boring. Even the ones that just say thank you feel more sincere than like crazy for you. Hmm.
Oh, Jen. She seems like she's just putting those putting that compassion and empathy that she has in her heart with this garbage person. Oh, you know what? Not my business. Not my business. Not my
No.
what
And
do
if
they yeah.
not my dishes, not my sink.
Not my dishes, not my sink, or not my zoo, not my I don't know. Who knows, dude? Not my monkeys, not my zoo. I don't
Oh, that
know.
sounds like a thing. Yeah.
It's probably absolutely not a thing, but it's something like that.
It sounds, like it's at the same party as not my dishes, not my sink. And then from one tragic relationship to another, we see
Margaret,
Shannon and John at the
Margaret,
Driftwood Kitchen.
Margaret, Margaret, Margaret.
What, first of all, what was Shannon wearing? Black and white gingham, like a pearl brooch. And her broken glasses did not make me laugh. They made me feel deeply sad and
Mhm.
embarrassed. And I don't know. And John sucks
He doesn't like her.
at all.
He
He's mean.
he resents her and he despises her. I would go so far as to say, and I don't know if you noticed this, but when she was ordering her cocktail and then she looked at him for like the last ingredient or the
Grapefruit.
the approval of what she was ordering or something, it weirded me out. And I don't think I was projecting because I've never looked to someone else to order my cocktail, but I have felt like I was despised in a relationship, and I I really felt that it felt palpable. And I just felt like the more Shannon was just being Shannon, the more he was just disgusted by her. And
And
yeah.
overtly, like when she
Mhm.
took a bite of her salad and he laughed at her because it was a big bite of
It
salad,
was a
but
big bite
like
of salad.
this is your boyfriend of 3 years. Like he shouldn't be like making fun of you. But then I also hated her because she was trying to force her salad on him.
Yes.
She's like, you
Yes.
should have a bite. And he's like, no, thank you. And then she's like, no, you should try it. Why not? And it was like, no means
Yeah.
no. Just
Yeah.
no.
Just
He can have
no.
watermelon and burrata some other time. But
Yeah.
both of them are just
Oh, just
oh God, it
oh.
was so I've had those dinners with
Totally.
partners
Me
and
too. Me
I
too.
was transported right back to
Where
feeling self-conscious.
the connection's off and you're just desperate for the connection. You're
Mhm.
desperate to feel like you're on the same page with the person sitting across from you. You're desperate to know what their true feelings are. And that just makes you more and more needy and asking questions. And that is exactly what that person probably doesn't want. But what are you supposed to fucking do in that situation?
You
Ugh.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, and honestly, the whole thing it sort of winds up foreshadowing what happens, with Shannon, what happened last week of her having a huge fight with John and then driving drunk and crashing her fucking car. Because
Dude.
she tells us, I'm going to lose it when my kids leave. She's about to have an empty house. And then John, in his like smug, shitty way, he goes, well, it's an exciting new time for us, spending time together and relaxing. We'll get through the chaos and trials together. And I'm like, well, we'll see. Because your life is now officially chaos and like literal trials. Because she's going to need to go to court a bunch. And like,
And you saw
it
that
just,
his son was arrested this week?
oh, what the fuck was that? I saw the headline, but I didn't dig any
So
deeper.
he was, I don't know what they call them in Orange County. I know up here they call them sideshows where
Mm-hmm.
people
Like drag racing kind of thing.
drift and drive their cars in a circle, and it's dangerous. And it is, listen, if people want to do that at a dedicated racetrack, I would love to see that. I would love to see a place for people to act like dicks with their own cars. They want to, spend all that money on new tires. Oh my God, I sound like a fucking boomer. If they want to spend all that money on new tires and new whatever for their cars from fucking it up by driving in donuts, far be it from me. Just do it somewhere safe. I don't give a shit. Just do it somewhere safe. But the pictures that were in the article saying that he got arrested for this, the guy looks like a fucking douchebag. The guy looks like
He
such a
looked like
tool.
Sugar Ray.
Oh,
Didn't
perfect.
he? Like he had
Yes.
like patterned pants on and like frosted tips
Someone
and
on
like a
Reddit
blazer or something weird. I was like,
s-
oh,
someone on Reddit said it's giving Chet
Hanks.
Chet Hanks. Yeah.
100%. They nailed it. That's exactly it.
Oh, I just felt bad for he's posing with his Dobermans, and I'm just like, no, don't bring a dog into it, you fucking wannabe. Just gross. Oh my
It just
God.
doesn't it just reek of like not parented.
100%.
It just looks like, oh, someone didn't have a dad.
Someone had
We're
an
watching.
alcoholic dad.
You're right.
Allegedly.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Anyway, but it just goes to show you that no, there's no priority being put on any kind of recovery or what's not broken don't fix, I guess, in that family. I guess if John's drinking is working for them and if his kid, I don't fucking know, but it's all coming to a head right now
Yeah,
for them.
it is not a
Good
cute
luck.
time. I know. I'm
Good luck.
afraid he'll blame Shannon for it somehow. Like he just seems like a monster, you know?
Oh shit.
Oh my God. Evelyn is just scratching
It's all
every
right.
piece of furniture.
She just heard her
Stop.
name. It's all right.
I
It's
know.
adorable.
All right. So now we go to Tamra's house for this disgusting scene, which is the
Oh my
Sidolonic.
God.
And it sounds like they sort of ambushed Jen to be their like guinea pig butthole. And I didn't find it amusing. I thought it was gross.
I thought it was gross. I thought, oh my God, this is a lawsuit waiting to happen. How is someone not going to puncture their colon with this thing?
It looked like sitting on a drinking
It
straw.
really did. It
And like,
really,
how do
really
you
did.
know how deep or not? You know what I mean?
That's
It
the
just
thing.
seems.
I don't know. I also calendula up your butt. Like a calendula is one of those plant oils that people tend to think has a lot of calming properties, and it absolutely does not. I'm not going to go into the science behind it right now. Go ahead and Google it on something like Google Scholar or not even EWG. Like go to a legit scholastic paper about it and read about why. I would never put calendula on my skin, not my face, not my arm. It's in a lot of baby products. I didn't put it
Certainly
on
not up
Leo.
your butthole.
No. Anyway,
Yeah, Shannon, again, like you said, she's claiming she's doing this in an effort to make money, but I'm with you. I feel like it's just going to bring lawsuits. I just
it,
feel like it's going to cause more problems because you're really choosing a delicate area to like fuck
yeah,
around with. And
yeah.
like, I don't know. I did find the flashback to that van ride home. There was a flashback to the van ride home from that dramatic dinner or
Mm-hmm.
lunch in
Mm-hmm.
Mexico where
Mm-hmm.
Heather's there like a complete fucking psycho, acting like nothing happened,
Yep.
showing pictures of her son and playing with Jen's feet. I don't know. It was weird.
It was weird. It was
She's
weird.
just yeah, she seems, I don't know. It almost, whatever. It must just all be an act. Everything she does is an act.
Heather?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It creeped me out though, because she really threw a fit at that lunch. And then in the van, she's like, oh, look at Nikki. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was
Oof.
weird. And it was also gross of Tamra to just because she's the one that started the conversation about Heather, right? When they sat down to eat
Of course.
some charcuterie and crudité. And I just, God, man, she's gross. Ugh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they just don't have like a great case here. This is when it comes up that Heather, when they were in Mexico, Heather went to eat soup and never returned.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like, I don't know, like just don't undermine your case against Heather by telling us that you were hurt by her passing out in her soup at the end of a night in like I just everything is becoming there. Heather has some real problematic behavior, like eating soup and falling asleep. It's like, I don't, is that,
No,
I
it's
don't
not.
know. I can't.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, and speaking of Gina and Heather, here we go.
Oh, my
We are at
God.
dinner with this quintessential Heather. Gina has arranged this dinner to talk through what happened in Mexico. Heather enters with the shittiest attitude, just like she's late. She's a total fucking bitch. She comes in upset.
Yeah,
So she's
cold as
obviously not
ice.
there. Yeah,
Cold as
she's not there to
ice.
listen or anything.
Nope.
She's there
Already
to
defensive.
manipulate Gina. Yeah. And saying shit like, you called me, so why are you upset? You know, just setting the stage for like no progress in their friendship. And Gina very kindly tried to say, I value your friendship. I want to figure this out. And then Heather just defensively goes like, well, I'm gonna explain it to you, talking to Gina like she's an idiot, which she
Oh,
is, but like,
God.
ugh. And then this is where it gets back into this gossip, BravoCon, two T's in a pod, who called who a loser. And it's a mess. Heather thinks she has this mic drop moment by playing that podcast recording, but it's like in Jen and Ryan's fight. Leave Tamra out of this.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on between the two of you?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
was just loud and messy and tense and unpleasant.
I really hope that in the reunion we get to the bottom of this. And I have a feeling that there are going to be, for lack of a better term, there will be some receipts. There's either something production cut out from the beginning of the conversation that we didn't hear that was on the podcast. I guess I could go back and listen to it, but I don't want to
No thanks.
really listen to John Cougar Mellencamp's daughter's podcast with Tamra. I don't like it when things don't feel clear to me.
These last few episodes have
It
been
was
so
just
messy
real
because,
chaotic and messy. Yeah.
and it's not immediate. You know, they teach you in like writing for TV that you don't want to talk about people who aren't there. You want to experience the situation with them and deal with it in the present. these last few episodes have been talking about stuff that was not on camera, BravoCon, that involves Teddy, who's just like a fucking remnant dud from another era. It just feels, I feel so separated from it that their emotional investment feels like, huh? I just don't, it all sounds stupid. Who cares who called you a loser? That's not why you hate Heather. There's 100 million other reasons to hate Heather.
Truly. Yes, I agree. And they were all about her being full hip. That's it. End of story. And the loser thing, I mean, all these goddamn thing, all these shows, this entire franchise is people talking shit about other people. Yes, it can make you really uncomfortable as a viewer to watch. Yes, I'm sure it makes you uncomfortable as a cast member to be on the receiving end of the gossip. But we all know how the sausage is made. I I don't know. I mean, Heather did keep saying it wasn't in her vernacular to call them losers, and she said it again on Watch What Happens Live, and I think she's really committed to that. And
But didn't she also say, I wasn't calling you losers, I was calling Noella a loser?
yes,
So it's like, well,
so well, what is
what's
it?
true then?
Exactly,
Do you
exactly.
not call anyone losers, or were you calling someone
Oh,
else a loser? And also,
Christ.
I don't care. It's like
Yeah,
really not that interesting. It's not that deep. But she takes this whole thing to become a martyr again. Like, I'm being attacked for things I didn't do. And
yeah.
Emily went to the Tamra School of Friendship. Tamra's, systematically destroying all of my friendships. And I was like, oh, wow, you're going to give Tamra that much power in your life? You're going to
Exactly.
let her?
And that shows that she has little faith in the people that she considers her friends. Listen, I have to have faith that my friends can handle me at my worst and at my best, and that I don't have to present this like perfect version of myself in order to be loved. I have to trust them. And if I'm not trusting them, A, I need to look at myself and why am I not trusting them? And then B, I apologize to my friends often. Not often, but I'll say, like, this is not about you. This is about me. This is about my little girl recreating how it felt to be a child of an alcoholic. And that made me not want to trust anybody that said that they loved me. And I had to be hyper. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. I know I'm speaking to the choir, but where the fuck was I going with this? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. My point is, Heather doesn't trust her friendships. And none of these women trust their friendships. I think Emily and Gina trust their friendships with each other, but there's no reason for the other ones to trust any of them, I
Well,
guess.
I
I don't know if
I
I'm
don't
making
think
any
Heather,
sense.
you are 100%. I don't think Heather trusts her friendships because I do believe she thinks they're losers. And this whole thing, like Heather is right about Tamara being a shit stirrer, but Heather is also a monster.
Mm-hmm.
There's room for like more than one bad actor,
Right. And
literally.
monster is a spectrum. And
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And a continuum. And yeah, this is just, you you do take accountability and responsibility, and we spoke last week. You had to make a really hard phone call to a friend of yours to discuss some layered subject matter, and both of you were honest about things that it brought up in you that weren't related to the actual incident. Like, there is a way to repair these friendships, have difficult conversations, and it doesn't resolve overnight. But like you're saying, when you have a friendship that you care about,
Mm-hmm.
you take the deep breath, you make
Mm-hmm.
the hard phone call,
Mm-hmm.
you tolerate the uncomfortable conversation, and you try to change your behavior or be more aware of it so that the same incident doesn't occur
Right.
again. But this
Right.
is just Heather going like, not my fault. Everyone else is to blame.
Exactly.
I'm defensive. You're stupid.
I just, the issue is that she doesn't like being called, she doesn't like when someone says she's in a whale trainer outfit, but then she calls Emily Snuffleupagus. That is not okay. And it's not
And
okay to,
justifying it and
and
defending
justifying
it.
it and
But
defending
I
it,
love
not,
Snuffleupagus. He's the best. I
and
didn't
not
mean it because you're fat. It's like, well,
all,
but
yeah,
just take a breath and be like, I can see how that would have hurt your
exactly.
feelings, and I'm
That's it.
so
That's
sorry.
all it takes.
I
That's
hope
it.
you know
Oh,
that's
I
not
can
what I
see
was
that.
referring to,
Oh, I
but
can
I
see
can
that.
totally yeah.
Exactly. That's
But
all you,
instead she's like, no, no, no.
yeah. Oh, okay. I guess I'm wrong. I guess I'm wrong. I don't fault her for any of the stuff she's talking about with Tamra, but I do have issue with with all of the other stuff. And
Oh
it's no
boy.
secret how I feel. Yeah.
I know. She really just gave us a whole season of reasons to hate her.
Mm.
So now we go to our circus freak show party, surely spontaneously inspired by a Cirque du Soleil performance in
Exactly.
Mexico that
Put
they
together
don't
so
need.
quickly.
Yeah, that they're not asking us to go see if we're in Mexico. So everyone enters and Gina and Travis are like, oh God, just a lion and a lion tamer, and Emily and Shane are popcorn with extra butter. By the way, I am Shane. I hate a costume party.
Oh my
I
God.
hate the pressure of dressing up. I don't love Shane, but like I would have been extra butter. I would have worn the extra butter t-shirt.
I really liked the popcorn costume. I thought it was
She
real
looked
cute.
hot.
Yeah, she did.
Hot popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor was cotton candy, which was at this moment, I was like, oh, you're so cute. Like winking at your iconic moment on TV when you ate something weird.
Oh,
By
that's
the end of the
right.
party, she fucking
Yes.
deep throats a whole ice cream
Oh
cone.
my God.
And I was like, you did it again.
Oh my
You
God.
made fun of yourself with your outfit. And then you fully just like unconsciously absolutely did the same thing. Just had like a weird sexual ingestion of treats. Tamra and Eddie are clowns, which is fitting. Jen and Ryan are the worst version of a lion and a lion tamer.
Yeah.
She's like vinyl and he's shirtless and yuck. And then Shannon and John just have, for the rest of the episode, we have a hat bickering
Oh my God.
runner, which
Oh my
was,
God.
it just, that relationship seems like a fucking nightmare.
It's exhausting. It's
Just,
exhausting.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. The hat, I don't know. It's not about the hat.
It's not about
Something
the
else is
hat.
going on. She's so insistent that he wears it. He's so mad and doesn't want to. It just is a lot. This was just, for me, this was just kind of like a lot of wandering
It was,
party business
yeah.
until we got to sort of the end.
Have Heather and Terry arrived at this point?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
I am
yeah.
going to say, I will go on the record, and I thought Heather looked fantastic in that outfit.
I couldn't stop looking at her.
Yeah.
Her body looked sick. The way that the costume was painted was like
gorgeous. Yeah, she looked amazing. And I thought that Terry being her muscle man, I get it. He's there to protect his wife and whatever.
he's such a
He's
dud at a
so
party.
up his own ass. Yeah.
I did love Emily calling it an intergalactic fantasy nighttime whale trainer outfit. That made me laugh. She still looks great, but it made me laugh very hard.
God. Oh my God.
And then here we are. Taylor is just shit-faced on another level. But I don't know. To me, this didn't to me, I feel like I perceive a difference between alcoholic shit-faced and like shit-faced.
Me
and
too.
To me, Taylor was like party fun shit-faced.
Yeah.
Whereas like the tension that comes up between Shannon and John when they drink,
Yes.
that erupts into something darker. I don't know. I enjoyed Taylor's drunkenness.
I did too.
It was a lot, but like
Yeah.
it was comedy, and it
Totally.
just was what it was. It didn't seem symptomatic of a deeper issue. What do I know?
I hear you. I hear you. At one point when Taylor's wasted, she starts talking about the night that she and Jen were sitting in their room and they invited Heather. It was after the net tree table fiasco. And they were there and they were trying to be supportive of Heather, which I thought was really big hearted of the both of them. And if we are to see, their behavior throughout the entire season has shown us nothing less than them being, compassionate and understanding and honest, for fuck's sake. They're the only two honest ones. Jesus Christ. Whether they have something positive or negative to say, or difficult or, scary or vulnerable to say, or something to say that could potentially cause conflict, they're at least honest. Okay, what I'm saying is that I understand what Taylor is explaining, that they felt like they were the pinch hitters because Heather was having conflict with Tamra and Vicky and Emily and Gina. That's it.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I hate that
think,
feeling.
Yes. It's just a reminder to me of like, don't talk about anything that you care about when you're drunk. Because Taylor, it just all sounded so ridiculous when she was saying, she goes, She's all upset about like, we wanted to go salsa dancing and my niece lives in Tulum and we stayed for your soup and then you didn't come back. And then she gets herself worked up to like, I got a news flash for Heather Dubrow. My friends are rich. I was like, what is happening? This is so all over the place. But I did enjoy the compilation of like wasted Taylor moments.
It was. It was funny.
She's ridiculous. And then we head into this like Heather tour where she starts with Taylor and that goes nowhere because Taylor's drunk and is just spitting nonsense. Then it's Heather and Jen, and Heather says to Jen in this like incredibly condescending way, like, you know, you're a great member of this friend group. I'm really glad Tamra brought you in, even though she treats you like shit. And like, I don't know why you take it. So it's like, thank you for anointing me a friend and for passing judgment. And I appreciated Jen for saying, like, I'm trying to figure it out, man. Like, I'm glad you have all the answers.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's Emily and Heather. Heather quoting back to Emily what Tamra had said, that Emily isn't a lawyer. She's just a party planner, which is like rude and shitty. And again, Cut Fitness just closed. So like, watch yourself, Tamra. Yeah. And then Emily opens up to her, you know, explaining that her bluntness comes from like it was like a survival tool when she was a child, and she's crying. And Heather is just cold and distant and like sort of puts like a weird crypt keeper hand on her knee, but like makes no real, I didn't feel anything real. It felt like a robot reached out because that's what it was programmed to do if it senses emotion.
There wasn't any compassion or empathy or even willingness to entertain what Emily was saying to her.
No. And it was interesting to watch Emily break down like this in front of Heather, because this is what my therapist works on me with, is like, be wise about your audience. Like, I share too much with the wrong people. Heather doesn't give a shit. She is going to find something out of this story to further categorize Emily as like weak and less than. And I felt bad for Emily because she was, you know, being very honest in her confessional, at least saying, you know, it's like a physical reaction. It's involuntary. I can't control it. But Heather's not the person. Heather, whose whole life is just one long control sequence.
Right.
You're not going to get anything from her.
Yep.
So I got to look at that.
Don't go to the hardware store for milk.
And also, you're not going to inspire compassion. I'm telling myself this. I'm not going to inspire compassion in an incompassionate human being by being more and more open and vulnerable. Me stripping bare does not do anything to change who they are and how they perceive me or interact with me or whatever.
And it's interesting because I completely agree with what you're saying. And I've also had therapists, say, okay, if you want a certain behavior from the person that you are having the conflict with, or you're in the relationship with, whatever that relationship is, are you doing the same thing? So I wonder if Emily might have been inviting Heather to be vulnerable with her if she was vulnerable with Heather, know?
I mean, that's certainly my mentality.
Yeah.
Like when I do that stuff, I'm like, let me demonstrate like how willing I am to show you all of my broken parts. Because I'd love to see yours. Like I always say, I relate to people first through their flaws.
Exactly.
I don't care about your accomplishments or how pretty you are. I want to know like what didn't get wired quite right, and we can relate or share or whatever on that. But Heather just won't. She just won't access that. And I truly am now starting to believe that she doesn't believe she has any broken parts.
I know.
Which is like, you are a human being.
Everyone does.
You're broken because you care so much about $55 million. What's that about?
Exactly.
Why is that so important to you?
Exactly. And I don't know how you feel about this, and I could be completely wrong and completely naive. I really do not believe that the issues that she's having with her friends come from them being jealous about her money. And I think that people are using whatever evidence they can find, like Taylor saying, I have friends that are rich. Listen, we are watching Housewives. Someone on every franchise is going to be the richest one. Sutton Strack isn't acting like Heather Dubrow. Sutton Strack is going all in with her clothes that other people don't wear because they're not on the fucking rack in the window at goddamn Saks in fucking Beverly Hills. Cough, cough, Dorit. And Lisa Rinna, never mind, she's not even relevant anymore. But I'm trying to think of someone else. You know, I don't see even fucking Kyle Richards isn't acting like Heather Dubrow. It's
Or
not
Candy Burris, who's probably
right.
like the richest person who will be rich forever because
Right.
she's created an empire.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't just have to build and sell malls. But yeah, no, Heather is a whole other kind. She just wants to win and be right.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
it. And you can't have human relationships if that's what's driving you.
Yeah.
So
It's
bye.
I just I don't know. I'm not jealous of I'm not jealous of her money. I'm not jealous of her anything, you know?
I do not, I don't, I, again, I don't know. It just seems so tenuous to hook your identity to money.
Yeah.
I think about, what was his name? Madoff.
Bernie
Was
Madoff, yeah.
Bernie Madoff. All of those incredibly wealthy people, we know some of them in our
Mhm.
industry who had
Mhm.
invested with him and lost it all. And so
Mhm.
now they have to work. And they
Mhm.
were A-list superstars and still are.
Mhm.
They're not
Mhm.
going to be destitute, but they lost whatever this shit that Heather is so proud of. It can be wiped out in a
Mhm.
fucking heartbeat.
Mhm.
And then who are you?
Mhm.
I mean, I guess they still have Terry's money or whatever, but it just like, I just don't, I don't know.
I don't
Like you
either.
said, it doesn't, I don't envy her
I
and
don't
I
either.
should. $50 million should make my jaw drop and I should be thrilled, but it just makes me roll my eyes and want to fast forward.
Yeah, I don't want anything she has.
No,
I just don't. Yeah. Maybe a room for my luggage. And I don't even have a lot of luggage, but like where the fuck do you put luggage? You put it in the garage, it's going to smell like mildew. If you put it in a closet, you can't use that closet for other shit. I don't know where the fuck I'm supposed to put a goddamn suitcase when I'm not using it. So I would like a luggage room.
that's a great,
Maybe a wrapping room.
it could be one and the same. It could be like
You're
a room
right.
off the garage
You're
that
right.
has luggage and a wrapping table
Listen.
and like a steamer or something.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I would use $55 million in like a really effective, awesome way, and we
Hell
wouldn't be
yes.
assholes on the other side of it,
No.
and we wouldn't be married to people who say G6 and do the Cabbage Patch.
Fuck no.
Mm.
Oh,
All right,
God.
and then we peak with Tamra and Heather talking, and I'm like, this is like when USC and Notre Dame play football. I truly hate both teams. I can't root for either of them, but I have to watch, and I'll enjoy a good play here and there. And I did love when Heather said to Tamra, "You are laboring under the misconception that I give a shit." And I was like, that was not a written line, and that was fucking great,
Yeah,
Heather.
it was. It was great.
Trust trust your own voice because it's better than your stupid sitcom bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're laboring under the. I might need to use that. I
It
might need to
was,
use
it had
that.
a very Ramona flavor to it because
Oh
it
God,
was
thank
just like,
you.
it had just enough big words to be, you can respect what's coming out of my mouth right now, and it is a total turns the light switch
It's an
off.
own. Yeah.
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 You're
Yeah.
laboring under the misconception that I give a shit. It's
Yeah.
so good. And
Yeah.
I do give Heather credit also for keeping her composure when Tamara was trying to provoke her, putting her finger in her face. Heather didn't raise her voice. I mean, given she's a robot, so it's not an option, but she didn't raise her voice. She didn't lose her temper. That was a pretty aggressive move on Tamara's part to like flick her finger around in her face.
It was
And
gross, dude.
it was childish and terrible. And
Scary.
yeah,
It's threatening.
it is. And she was trying to provoke a physical response, I think.
Yeah. Oh
Dumb.
God. It's just, dude. Oh. So I, I don't know. You're right. I think we'll probably find out in the reunion who said what at BravoCon 2022. Oh my God.
I wish I cared like at
I wish I
all.
cared too.
I sure don't. And
Mm-mm.
also, mostly because it's saying you're a loser. It's not who turned Jen Shaw into the authorities.
Right.
It's literally like, who called me a loser? I guarantee both of them did. And I guarantee you all have called them losers too. Like, it's just not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we end with their like, uncomfortable family portrait and then all of the check-ins of where are they now that are clearly out of date because Shannon
Completely.
is facing DUI
I
charges.
mean,
And
they had time to put that
I
in. I
know,
was fully expecting it, but
I guess because they won't address it in the reunion because that happened after the reunion, the DUI.
oh, God damn
But
it.
It did feel like a kind of a major oversight.
It did. It did feel like that. It's weird.
It was weird.
Oh, God. I was glad that Vicky wasn't in this episode.
Me fucking too.
And I am like, okay, Emily, are you really going to? I know that she said this. I don't even remember what part of the episode it was. She did some mental gymnastics. Tamra called Emily Shrek a few seasons back. Might have been the last season that Tamra was on before she was put on pause. The season where she ends having a quasi anxiety attack in the bushes.
Oh, that's right. That was amazing. That was
She's
great
so
TV.
sick. She needs so much help, that woman. She called Emily Shrek, and Emily rationalized her behavior, as opposed to Heather's. She gave Tamra a pass for it. She says that at least Tamra apologizes. Listen, her apologies are not sincere because she does the same behavior afterwards.
It's, again, in a different situation, it would be considered abuse. If you punch someone and apologize and punch someone and apologize and punch someone and apologize, I'm not going to say at least he apologizes. Stop punching me.
Exactly.
Like, change, like, no, she's awful. And yeah, that was a weird,
It
that
disappointed
was some
me.
weird mental gymnastics that
It
she pulled there.
was.
I mean, I guess if you're trying to rank who's worse, Heather or Tamra, you'd have to go to details like that because it's, I don't know who's worse.
I don't either.
They're both awful. And the reunion, like, I'm kind of glad that we'll have a week off of OC and sort of we can recap the reunions as a whole.
Yeah.
Because it looks like they're going to be yelling about what we've been yelling about the whole time.
Probably.
So, it doesn't look like anything new. I'm not sure. I think I like their like neon looks.
I loved Taylor's outfit and I loved her hair.
Was that the ombre dress?
Yes.
Yeah, I loved that.
Yes, I loved it. I don't remember anyone else's except for I know that Heather's wearing black. Just like, come on, dude, have some fun. Fashion is fun.
She cannot. Oh, Lord. Did you watch anything else this week?
Yes, I did. And now that the strike is over, I can talk about scripted shows, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yay.
So I forgot that the morning show started again with season 3.
Oh, yeah.
So we quasi binged on that. We watched the first 3 episodes, and I'm not going to give any spoilers away other than to say that I loved the first 2 seasons so much. I loved that show. And I didn't start watching morning show for a long time because I was like, great. Another show with fucking Jen Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. Oh, how compelling. But then I started watching and I absolutely adored it. And Billy Crudup, for all of his flaws, and there are many in his personal life, he is a fucking fantastic actor. Oh my God, the acting on
So
that
well
show
cast
is
on that
so
show.
good. I forget that he's Billy Crudup.
I haven't watched the 3rd season, but yes, in the first 2.
Yeah, so great. The 3rd season is a little like, okay, TBD, but I really liked it so far. And then I hadn't watched Big Little Lies season 2, which I know came out in like 4 fucking years ago. I binged on that over the weekend. And I didn't want to watch it because I was like, oh, great, Meryl Streep. Everyone loves Meryl Streep. She was so fucking good in that season. And it was so uncomfortable. All of the actors on that show are just spine-tinglingly good. And I was really sad that it was over. Laura Dern as Renata is just, oh God, it was amazing television. So, and then I watched New York on Sunday, and then I absolutely watched Salt Lake City on Tuesday. And did I watch anything else? I don't think so. But tonight is The Golden Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise.
Yes,
Yahoo!
like 15 hours of TV. That
Exactly.
is going to have like no content, but it will just be deliciously dumb.
Fuck,
And I love it.
Paradise, and I just want to be there to watch The Golden Bachelor. I don't have high hopes, but I can't.
No.
I have to watch the spectacle.
Same.
So
it's like the promo for it is like a Saturday Night Live sketch. They show the women in the kitchen and one woman raises her champagne glass and goes, "Here's to not being able to get pregnant." And I was like, oh my God, this is sad. That's not hot. That's fucking sad. But whatever.
I love it, but it also feels like a trope. but it's also
but that's why I tune into The
yeah,
Bachelor, is to
exactly.
groan and roll my eyes at shit that,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
And here's hoping that when we see women from the baby boomer generation, that we'll see insecurities that are unlike the ones that we see when we're watching The Bachelor and they've cast 23 to 25-year-olds. Like, come on. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Ah. I don't know that people are ready to get married when they're that young. I really don't. But
I
I'm also
don't
projecting because I was not.
No, but I honestly think I don't think anyone knows ever.
Mhm.
You know my theory. I think marriage is a gamble. Like the odds are what they are because it's a gamble,
Mhm.
and some
Mhm.
people grow together and go the distance, like your amazing friends celebrating 20 years in New
Yeah.
Orleans,
Yeah.
and some people who you think are indestructible come undone.
Mhm.
I'll be honest, I didn't see like Kyle and Mauricio breaking up. Like they
I
haven't
didn't
officially
either.
yet,
I
but I
didn't
didn't
either.
see this kind of a separation
I didn't
happening.
I did
And
not believe that it was the utopia that she made it out to be at
same.
all, but I did not expect this because I really thought that Kyle was going to be too wrapped up in image. But I wonder if oh, I'm so mean. I wonder if because she we don't know for sure if she's moved on with Morgan, but if we are to believe what the pictures are showing us and what the implications are, what the little Easter eggs that Kyle is spreading around. Yeah, maybe because she had a hot new young love interest, it made the separation with Mo easier. Who knows? Who
It always
knows?
does, but
Yeah.
like it's such a weird the way they're playing it in the press is so weird. I don't know if you saw Mauricio's interview when he was coming out of a rehearsal for Dancing with the Stars, and they were like, "Do you like Morgan?" He's like, "I love her. She's wonderful. She's a great girl." And I was like, "What are we doing here? Like your marriage of 1,000 years that you guys have that has been your whole identity on the show is that you're the couple who's been married. I don't know. The whole thing is weird. I will
Yeah,
say
go ahead. Yes. Sorry.
I'm loving how Bravo is like probably oversaturating the entertainment world right now, but like it's everywhere and like told you so world.
Thank
You
you.
know,
Yes.
they
Yes.
don't hire these people because they're wonderful personalities. They hire them
Mm-mm.
because everyone watches.
Mhm.
So you're watching. All the people who have called this garbage TV, call it what you want, you're watching.
Between Matt Walsh. I fucking love Matt Walsh. I love him with my whole fucking heart. I
He's
love him
amazing.
so fucking much. Between Matt Walsh being on as a contestant and the Bravo Lebs, I don't watch Dancing with the fucking Stars. I watch it against my will. If it's on in the background or if I walk into someone's house and it's on, I don't even watch. Like I'm just like, okay, it's on. I know what the show is. I will probably watch it as I do some, you know, paperwork or eh, some tidying up around the house. I'll probably watch some A Dancing with the Stars, but I want to watch this season, you know,
Yeah, I
because
mean,
of that.
I
It's
only watched Ariana's dance. I haven't watched any of the rest of it, but my mom loves Dancing with the Stars, of course, because she's like 80.
oh
Um,
my god.
but I used to fucking hate it because they had a band with no percussion. There was like that was like
Mm-hmm.
all we got for a beat. But now they play the actual tracks. Sometimes they're like dummy tracks. They're like, people who are singing the song of the
Sure.
artist, but at least there's like bass and I don't know, the music has some fucking intrigue now. So, like Ariana's dance, I thought it was good. I thought she did great. I didn't watch anything else, so I don't know how she compared to other people, but that was great.
Yeah, I haven't watched
Um,
yet, but I will. Mm-hmm.
I did watch Tom Sandoval on Special Forces.
Oh, how was it? I couldn't bring myself to
I
watch. It just looked so boring, but please tell me everything.
I don't even know what to make of it yet. I did not watch the first season, but like it is certainly, during the pandemic, I watched all these like climbing Mount Everest documentaries because it's something I would never do. It's something I would never survive. It's really hard and it takes a lot of courage and determination and insanity on some level. And that's what I feel is like the driving force of special forces. It's like you have to be insane to want to do this shit. And the people, it's a really interesting cast. Tara Reid tries to like she brings in like contraband cigarettes and they find out and she hands over 2 packs and he's like, "What's in your other pocket?" And she's like, "Oh, nothing." a fucking pack of cigarettes. Like, she is just a disaster. But you feel for her because she's 47 and she's like, I look like shit and everyone on social media tells me so. And I'm here to just like see if I'm strong anymore. Like, I don't know. There was something interesting about it. And Sandoval was the least interesting part. So I don't know if I'll watch again, but it was a good watch. And I watched Roni and Salt Lake City and Sister Wives, which is just like, talk about people who didn't see their marriages ending.
Dude.
It's just like a divorce-orama over there.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to watch how people handle a relationship falling apart. It's so sad. And some people just get mean because they have no other tools. And it's hard to watch.
Oof.
Don't recommend this season.
No.
It's painful.
No. I can't watch that show. It's just so, it creeps me out to my bones. I just, ew.
It is 100%. Everything about it is creepy.
It's just creepy.
It's so
I
odd.
can't do it. I have my limits when it comes to reality shows.
That's fair. I only
Yeah.
started watching it. That's another one that I started watching during the pandemic per my niece's suggestion. And so it's one of those things that like I like talking about with her.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure I'd watch it otherwise.
And
And she's not even watching this season. She's in college and she's like, fuck that show. I got better shit to do.
And I'm not shaming. Believe me, I'm not shaming.
No, of course. But it is weird. It is a very
It
weird
makes me
world.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Every single person in it is utterly unrelatable and seemingly out of their minds.
Yeah.
So
It just makes me feel sad and scared.
yeah.
Like not safe.
Yeah, every choice they make is sad and scary.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know exactly what it is. Yeah. What's your antidepressant this week?
Well, I feel a load off my mind because I packed my suitcase and I got my updated COVID shot on Monday.
Yay.
And I am sure I have more, but that's all I can think of right now. Yes.
That's amazing.
Thank you. How about you?
Yeah. Obviously my massive antidepressant, and it literally
yes, dude, of course.
I had a chemical reaction when I got the email.
Yes.
The strike for the writers has ended, but I do believe that the contract we put in place will make easier deal terms for the actors, and they should have a deal very soon. And it's incredible what the negotiating committee did. And I know it took all of us like almost, or some people actually losing homes, and I lost my health insurance. I'm paying $1 zillion to,
man.
However, the Guild extended coverage through the end of the year for people like it. They've done everything right, and it's really heartening. And I'm so relieved, and I'm so proud, and I'm so hopeful for the industry as a whole. I know this probably sounds like more grandiose than it actually is,
not at all.
After 5 months of like just a fucking desert of work and emotion, it's just, that was a huge, wonderful, overwhelming relief.
Mm-hmm.
Like I choked up reading the email.
Margie, I was so happy. I was so happy.
It's like, it's almost the bad guys didn't win.
Fuck
and like
them.
A lot of good guys showed up to take care of the little guys.
Yeah.
Like our negotiating committee, they're not people who are in a position to lose their homes. They're set, but they took their time and energy for months to sit across from a bunch of assholes and look out for the little guy. And I just like loved that. It really, I found the whole thing incredibly moving, and I cannot fucking wait to get back to work. I don't know when exactly that will be, but just the fact that I can pitch and write and like it's possible again. So that is huge.
I'm so thrilled. Yeah.
And then the other tiny antidepressant, but it did make me giggle. So my dog has an Instagram and a TikTok account, and some photographer found her. He's trying to expand his business from wedding photography to pets and people as well.
Oh.
So he offered her a free session. I have taken it up on it. And he's like, you can bring other people if you want. And the session happens to be on my mom's 82nd birthday. So I'm going to bring my mom
Margie.
and Evelyn and do like a little family photo shoot.
That's so sweet.
With a professional photographer.
Why don't you tell the people the name of the account where you guys can actually see Margie's adorable fucking dog?
It's called Evelyn_wears_outfits. Evelyn wears outfits. And that is what it is. It is a dog in costumes. There is some are Bravo adjacent,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely scouring my closet for OC reunion looks. But yeah, it's been like there's been like a lot of joy this week. I don't know why I hesitate to say that word. I was like, the loudest word in my head was joy, and I was like, choose another one. Choose
Because
something a little less loud,
joy
Margee.
is a word that has a lot of gravitas. And you've been in a state of extreme fear for 5 fucking months.
And the 2 years of COVID before
exactly,
it.
exactly.
It's been awful.
It's trauma upon trauma. It's fear of losing your house and your fucking health insurance, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
this has been it's
no.
been wildly unpleasant.
Yeah.
But I mean, the way it has resolved is like it's so careful, and I mean it in that way. Like there's so much care afforded to the people who, you know, we did sacrifice a lot to walk in circles for 5 months.
Good
So, you know, we got everything we'd hoped for. So
Love it.
fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah,
So
dude.
yeah.
Power to the people. Yeah.
Riding in dog costumes, that has, you know, that was the formula for joy this week. So
I love it.
I'll take it.
And I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled. You guys deserve it. You guys deserve it all. So again, everyone, reminder again, we will be releasing our episode probably next Monday. So just in a few more days, you don't have to wait another week. We will not have an episode about the first reunion, but we will be here on Monday to discuss RHOC. And thank you for being flexible with us.
Oh my God. And just subscribe to the podcast, and then it'll show up in your feed, and you don't have to hunt it down, which I know everybody is doing.
Rate, review. Please. It really helps us. You'd be shocked at how much it helps. Anyway, thank you.
Well, everybody take care of yourselves on this short week, and we will be back on Monday with a whole new franchise to take a peek at.
Yes,
I'm thrilled.
Me too. All right, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Ramona and Margee are, obviously, not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.